Presenting Black Hole Theory, authored by R.E. Link, narrated by R.E. Link and F.S. Link. Copyright 2021 by R.E. Link, all rights reserved. Black Hole Theory is book number 2 in the continuing story of Tim Anderson and Peter Burke. William Johnson had a problem. 2 days ago, a department of government ordered his family eliminated. He was stunned, and he was angry. Ever since 2025, the government has been out of control, doing as it pleased without concern for who it hurt along the way. He had ignored it up to this point, but no longer. He was determined to make a change. He didn't know how, or when, or what form it would take, but it was going to change. Gloria Ashley, director in charge of the technology branch, was a lot of things, but stupid and inexperienced she was not. She didn't understand why, but she realized in an instant what was going to happen. She made a quick turn to her left, reaching for her weapon, but there wasn't time. Pulling her right leg back, she snapped it straight out with everything she had. The 3-inch spike of her heel caught her assailant in the upper chest. Blood began spreading around the embedded heel that was left behind. Tim Anderson and his friend Peter Burke were 2 typical teenage boys, finishing up their last years of high school, doing all the things teenagers do, while preparing themselves for college and a life beyond. That was their public image. Behind the scenes, they were the apprentice of William Johnson, hero of the world and genius inventor, and they had an assignment. They were tasked to develop a new power system, one that would produce continuous electrical power without polluting the earth it was meant to protect. It was an absurd assignment, ridiculous to even think it could be done. Yet they had an idea, a theory, a rather ingenious theory, which begged the question, can they turn it into reality? And what if they can't? How will the Earth defense system work without it? Monday, June 20th, 2067. Chapter 1, Episode 1-1, The Return Home. Bill had just returned home from a weekend outing spent with his daughter Margaret and son-in-law Fred. He shook his head at that thought. A weekend outing. He almost laughed. An outing was perhaps a nice way of saying it, but in truth, he had been hiding from the government and using his daughter's weekend trip for cover. He stood at his front door, watching his brother Joe drive away after dropping him back home. He was beside himself with anger. Angry at Gloria Ashley for what she tried, angry with the government for what they allowed, and even angrier with himself for setting those events in motion. It was a stupid mistake. He had been distracted by the conversation and inadvertently stepped outside the safe room, just for a second. However, in that fraction of a second, the government captured a part of his conversation. He knew they would come. They would come to check it out. He didn't know how much they heard, but he knew they would come. He also knew...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?